What's up? It's Sunday. It's May 8th. And I'm going to forego just talking about, I don't know, stuff that I think is kind of important to talk about what's going on in my life right now. I just kind of got to document it because I'm a little, yeah, I'm a little bit scared that I'm gonna die, and so I kind of want to like put this out. I need to put this out there. So my landlord is a guy named Mark Skipwith. He's um he's the owner of this land that I live on. It's a small commercial park. There's like three buildings. There was four businesses when I moved in. The guy below us had a gutter business. He moved out very shortly after I moved in, last March. I think he probably moved out in April. There was a carpeting and hardwood flooring, mostly hardwood floor, I think, company, Oscar and his wife. They were over there. They moved out 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Now they're down the road, down I think Washington and Arlington. There's Michelle. She's got carpeting by the roll, and she's in here about 3 times a week, and she loads a roll into somebody's van. She's being squeezed out. All that's happening because Fred Goldstein, who has a framing business called Castelli Framing, he's doing well, and he's growing, growing, growing. So Skip has been. I don't know if he's been telling people that they need to pay more rent or move out. I think he's just telling them they need to move out. He's ending their leases. I think they're all like month-to-month leases, and he's ending except for the gutter people. I think they just left because the business dried up, like literally because it stopped raining. People stopped realizing or that their gutters were bad, kind of thing, and or their gutters just weren't being used, and so they weren't going bad. Whatever. His business dried up with the rain, so he left. That was vacant for. It was for the 13 months I've been here. It was used for like 3 months. A fellow from Africa selling goods. A guy named Luke, who spends like 8-9 months of the year running safaris, and then 3-4 months of the year selling goods here. So he was in there. And then there was like a month where there was a painter, a lady doing paintings. She was her Jenna. She was in there until a couple weeks ago. Anyway, except for that, everything's been occupied completely, and yeah, Fred's like taking over. So when Fred was taking over Oscar's business about 3 months ago, that was when I found out that I have to leave. My roommate Anthony sent me a text, said something to the effect of, "We have to leave May 1st because they're doing renovations." I think I'd heard like little rumblings, whatever, little, It was never like we might have to move. So it was like boom, like hello. But I right away was concerned because I'm paying $375. I was paying for a bedroom, and I got a dog while I lived here. And finding an apartment with a dog, finding a place to go with a dog. I mean, I kind of crafted my life around the fact that I was paying $375. I started going to school. The school was giving me $6,000 a year. The Fed was giving me $6,000 a year. The state of California was paying for the school. So basically, I could live with working relatively little. I could just go to school full time. So I crafted whatever as soon as I started going to school, like 2 months after I started going to school, 2 weeks after I started going to school, found out gotta move. So right away I put an ad in on Craigslist, same kind of ad as I used to find this place and the last like 3 places that I've lived, which was like asking, like I was asking. Actually, I think I started only with this place. The other places when I looked, I found their ads. It was just this place that I put an ad in saying this is what I'm looking for, and I got a few responses. This was one of them. This was the best one. I was really hoping, and it was good. It was very good. It was a bedroom. It's a bedroom, and it's a great apartment. It's like a single apartment. Like there's not other apartments up, down, left, right, center. It's the only apartment. There's three other, like I said, three large commercial buildings. I'm sitting on top of a small commercial building, the one that was the gutter place. But it's alone. Like I'm in the middle of the night. At midnight, I could be listening to music or watching a movie or anything I want, and I'm not bothering anybody. And Anthony was away a lot. My roommate, who moved himself into his living room, he had like stuff in an armoire. He had a little bit of stuff left in the closet that he just didn't have anywhere to put it. But I mean, he didn't have a lot of stuff, so he was fine living in the living room. And the couch was uncomfortable to sleep on. I guess it's too soft. It is. It's too soft to sleep in. So he slept on the floor, but he wasn't here very often. He was mostly sleeping over his wife's. He would come in maybe 2-3 nights a week, and we would spend a couple hours talking. And then he would pack it up early because usually I'd be up at like between 4 and 5 in the morning. I would rarely hear him leave. I would mostly just wake up at like 6, 7, and he'd be gone. So it was a good roommate situation. It was just good. So anyways, I needed to find something like that. I put an ad up on Craigslist. I found a couple of things pretty quickly. They didn't turn into anything, but that was very lucky. And when they didn't turn into something, but I saw how quickly I got responses, I figured it's okay. I can start looking basically in the beginning of April. I'll stay here through the rest of January at that point, through February, through March. Spend $375. Have a good, comfortable place to have myself, and then in April find a place for us to go. And then I went on a date with a girl on Tinder, and she told me that because she knows a thing or two about real estate, I guess, that my landlord can ask me to leave because he's renovating, but he's got to pay somewhere between She said $7,000. I looked it up. It's somewhere between 7 and 19, depending on how long you've lived there, how much the rent is, and I don't know, a few other things. I don't remember, but it's 7 to 19. I was kind of excited, so I went to Basta, which is a nonprofit law firm that deals with tenants being kicked out of their places. And I said, "Is this true? Do I apply? Am I qualified or whatever?" And they ran the numbers, put my address in the computer, said, "No, it's not true. You don't qualify for the $7,000 because your apartment is rent controlled, which means that they can't actually ask you to leave. They cannot ask you to leave." So then I was in a whole other scenario, and I'm like, wow, this is great. But I didn't want to, in further looking it up, I think that evening, I found out that there are a few reasons why they can't ask you to leave. If they have to have a family member move in here, and there's nowhere else for them to go. If they want to have a property manager move in here, there's nowhere else for them to go. Or if they're going to demolish the site, but they can't like demolish the site and then rebuild it. It'll never go back on the market. They cannot have an apartment on the market if they demolish it. Again, not at this address. Anyway, so anyways, in doing the research that night and finding out that there are some reasons they can kick you out, I found out that if they do exercise one of those reasons to kick you out, they have to give you a month to move out, unless you've been there for more than a year. And that date for me was March 22nd. This was in February, so I kept a secret until March 22nd. I couldn't tell my roommate, "Hey, we actually don't have to move out." Well, during that month, Anthony said some weird stuff when he was drunk, and I could kind of tell that he was strangely excited that I was moving out or something. It was something like it was February or something like that, and I said something like, I don't know. I said something like, oh, I forget what I said, but he said, oh, well, why even do that? I mean, we're about to move out anyway. And I was like, well, it's February. He's like, hey, it's almost March, and but still, it's like May 1st. So it was like it was a weird thing. I was like, something doesn't add up there. Like, is he? Why is he so excited that I'm leaving? 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, something like that. I came home. Skip, the owner and landlord, who Anthony pays the rent to. I paid rent to Anthony. Anthony paid rent to Skip. Skip was outside. He was coming upstairs. I passed him on the way up, said hi. Anthony didn't even smile at me, so I could kind of tell that he was playing it off to Skip, maybe, that he's not happy with me. That was interesting. And but he actually kind of wasn't. What it turned out, I think what I've added up is that the dog fur in his living room area, because we had to walk through the living room whenever I was taking her out, so there would be dog fur. Was annoying the heck out of him. Like, when he would get home, he would vacuum for like 3 times as long as it would take to vacuum this real estate. Like, almost like to make a point. Like, this is so annoying, And then he would take his sheets outside and just air them out. He felt like he had to air things out. He would take the rugs outside and air them out. So I could tell he was just annoyed. So I think he played up how bad it was for him and got Skip to agree to go along with the idea that he and I were being forced out. And I'm guessing, so this is what I heard. I heard him say to Skip, so you're going to let me know in October, right? Something like that. I can't remember the exact verbiage, but I could tell that what it meant was that he's going to be coming back here in October. Which makes sense, I guess, if they're going to do like some major renovation, and they might be doing some good major renovation. I don't know, but it looked like he was going to be coming back in October. It also made sense later why he said that he's not going to find an apartment. He's not looking for an apartment. He's not looking to rent anything. He's just going to couch surf, he said. He said, I'm just going to couch surf. That makes sense if he's coming back in 4 or 5 months. So I did not decide to tell him on March 22nd, because then I figured, once he gets the idea that I'm, sticking around, then he's gonna start the proceedings, of that 2 months. I guess I thought I'd rather push that 2 months out as much as I can, right? All of a sudden, Anthony was in the same boat as Skip for me, and that's me avoiding getting kicked out by either one of them. And I was a little uncomfortable, living with the guy knowing that he's lying to me in order to get me to move out. Why couldn't he just be honest? He was afraid that he wouldn't be compelling enough. What do you think? I was just going to say no? I didn't know anything about rent control, or I knew nothing. And also, when people are honest with me, at least, typically, I'm reasonable, and he did invite me into his home, and he gave me a good rental rate. And if it's not working out, and he says, I'm sorry, it's just not working out, can you just, move out whenever you can move out? I would say, yeah, sure, of course. Unless I really could not find a place either to put Maya or me or something. I mean, absolutely, then I would have just said, I'm trying, but I can't. I'm just give me some more time, whatever. As it stood, as it stands, as it was, as it is, I was not in a position to do anything, for him. Then I was on the opposite side of the page from him. I was the enemy. So he was the enemy. He was the enemy all of a sudden. Anyways, push came to shove, and I'll talk about that in part 2 right now.